going on, you guys? Welcome back to Who's Number One, week number 12. I liked it a lot better in the first 10 weeks. Any numbers more than 10 makes it kind of hard to do this show. It was an awesome weekend. In a weekend that was kind of thought of ahead of time to be a bit of a down weekend. Some guys were going to take some time off. Totally the opposite. Turned into an awesome weekend of cyclocross. As usual, we had some great ACA racing out in Colorado. Love those races. Wish we had just more attention put on those races. They need like an Adam Meyerson out there. They need a Verge series, someone to bring the gift of UCI to Colorado. Because right now, no one really pays attention to those races outside of Colorado, but some great stuff going on there. On the UCI side of things, we had 2 days of racing out in Los Angeles with CXLA, including the Cross After Dark series finale. Out here in Massachusetts, we had the Bay State Cyclocross. Of course, our neighbors to the north this weekend had the Canadian National Championships. A lot of good rides, a lot of good stuff to get to. Let's not waste any more time. Your women's rankings this week. First up, moving up to number 14 this week is the very young, almost childlike, because she is a child, is Emma White. Another huge weekend on the podium at Bay State, attacking off the front, just blowing my mind right now is Emma White. Number 11 this week on the podium, both days out at CXLA, was Rachel Lloyd. Now, if you're new to the sport of cyclocross, maybe you don't know the name, you haven't heard of it before, but Rachel is the real deal. Represented the U.S. at the World Championships back in, I think it was 2009, a former Super D national champion on the mountain bike. She is the real deal. Unfortunately, she's been retired for the last couple of years, still seems to get it done at least once a year, usually out in California where she is from. But Rachel, please come back. Just come race like 4 or 5 weekends. The women's sport of cyclocross right now needs more, they need more of you. Number 5 and number 4 this week is Crystal Anthony and Elle Anderson. Each one taking a win this past weekend at the Bay State Cyclocross here in Massachusetts. It was Elle Anderson on Saturday in the dry and the fast course, on Sunday in the mud, in the slop, on one of the most technical courses we've seen all season long. It was Crystal Anthony getting the job done. Now, between the two of them, we're going to give the edge to Elle this week only because of the past results she's had this season. But Crystal looking very strong, coming off that little bit of a fumble she had last weekend at the World Cup. But Elle Anderson, the real story here was Sunday in the mud. Just again showed she's not bad in the mud. She still does very well. But we've seen Providence, day 2, where she got beat by Katie. Cincinnati on Saturday night, where she got beat in the mud. Now here on day 2 in Sterling, she's not quite there. It's the difference between being able to win a race, being able to podium at a big race like the National Championships, and maybe not. So Elle, you got to figure that out. The other racers on the start line, that might be your strategy. Just make it rain on the start line. You know Elle's not gonna. That wasn't a good. We're just gonna move on. Climbing the rankings to number 3 this week is your new Canadian national champion, riding that wave of success she started back at that crash course of cyclocross she put in at the Jingle Cross event, is Kathryn Pendrell. The new Maple Leaf jersey in the house for Kathryn Pendrell. Now, not sure if she's going to do any more cyclocross. If she doesn't, she's off the list. If she does, welcome to cyclocross. Now, number 2 and number 1, they flip-flop again this week, back and forth every single weekend. This weekend, it will be Katarina Nash, your number 1 rider in North America, Katie Compton, number 2. Why? Again, because, again, Katie Compton this weekend didn't race. Last weekend, it was Katarina Nash. The weekend before that, it was Katie Compton again. So Katarina Nash goes out to CXLA, takes a commanding 2 wins both days at the UCI races there, wraps up the Cross After Dark overall series. Katie Compton doesn't do anything this week. She is number 2. Moving on to your men's rankings this week. Get ready. We got more movement this week in the rankings than probably any previous show this season long. First up, in number 19, making his debut on the rankings this year, is Brady Cappius. Took a huge win in Colorado at the ACA race there, beating previously ranked Alan Krugoff. You're off the list. Brady, you get his spot. Number 8 this week. In fact, sometimes we do the top 4 all at once. If possible, I'm going to do the top 8 all at once this week, because it's just, there's stuff going on everywhere. There's no one I can't talk about here. Number 8, Tim Johnson. That's right, Tim Johnson. Number 1 last week, number 8 this week. Tim, I know the gaps were close. I know you were in there in the mix at CXLA, but you weren't. You weren't on the podium. You weren't winning races. Number 8, dude. Number 7 this week, Danny Summerhill. He got the job done. He was on the podium at CXLA, coming back into some good form. Number 6 is Jeff Kabush. Now, there's no denying he's one of the top guys in North America. I will give him number 6 for this week. He won the Canadian National Cyclocross Championships. I'm not happy about Jeff winning the Canadian National Championships. I'm not gonna lie about it. The dude hasn't really raced cross all season long. I want a cyclocross racer, a full-time cyclocross racer. I want Mike Garrigan. I was cheering for Aaron Schooler out there. I want a guy who's gonna race cross all season long, who's gonna wear that jersey. I don't know when the last time I saw Jeff was. I saw him in Cross Vegas. Well, hopefully we're gonna see him in Bend this next weekend. But Jeff, if you're gonna race, if you're gonna take the glory of the national title, then just represent that. Bring it to cyclocross. Next year, dude, I wanna see you with that jersey out there all the time. Number 5 this week, finally taking his first step on the elite podium, was Logan Owen. Second place, a very close sprint finish with Ryan Trebone on Saturday at CXLA. Good ride for him. Sunday, a little under the weather, but forget about it. He was on the podium. Number 4, Jeremy Powers. It equals or is his lowest spot on the rankings all season long. How did we get here? Jeremy, how did we get to number 4 on the rankings? It was week after week after week. Number one. He's taking it easy. He's not going that hard. Come November, he's gonna be flying. Come December, he's gonna win everything. Well, dude, it was December 1st on Sunday, and you lost. You lost to Jeremy Duran in Massachusetts at home. Come on, dude. He won the race on Saturday. The highlight of the weekend for Jeremy Powers is that he extends his lead in the USA Cycling Pro CX calendar because neither Ben Bairden or Tim Johnson had a great weekend out in Los Angeles. So Powers getting some points there, but still, dude, on Sunday, when it really mattered, on the hard course, the most technical course we've seen all season long, you still got beat. I know you didn't have the right tires, you only had one bike. It doesn't matter. You're a professional cyclocross racer. You show up to a professional cyclocross race, you have what you have. But there's women in the Cat 3 field that didn't have the right tires, and they borrowed some tires from a buddy in the other race. It was a good race. Still number 4. Number 3 is Ben Bairden. Had a tough ride on Saturday, won the race on Sunday in LA. Nothing to get super psyched about there. Number 2 is Ryan Trebone, won a very good battle of a race on Saturday at CXLA, a very tactical battle. It was like 5 or 6 guys within a handful of seconds. He not only had the legs on the day, but had the brains on the day to take that one. I just can't believe I'm about to say this, but it's true. I don't know who else to give it to. The number 1 ranked rider in all of North America this week, it's Jeremy Duran. Jeremy Duran, Jeremy the Sausage King Duran, number 30, not on the rankings Duran. I think he's the best rider this weekend. The guys in LA were good, but like we said, on Sunday, when it counted, Jeremy Duran rode not even the race of his life. He finally rode a race that is compatible with who he is as a bike racer. He finally just put it together on one day. We talked about it with Robert Marion a couple weeks ago. There is no such thing as fluke good races, only fluke bad races. And this proves that all those races that we were giving you about, those were bad races, because this is where you belong, dude. You have got the engine. You've got the keys to a Ferrari, just like every other one of these top guys do. Like Powers, like Johnson, like Trebone. But you're racing back there with the guys in the Hondas. You're a Ferrari in a pack of Hondas most weekends, and it's embarrassing for you. You're crashing out of races. You didn't do that on Sunday on the most technical course in the mud. You were good. You started fast, but you didn't fade. You fought for it, and you won the race. You went for it. But you got to do that now every single weekend. You know the difference? It's easy to fight for it. It's easy to give that little extra bit when you're fighting for the win. But a guy like Tim, a guy like Powers, a guy like Ryan, they give that every single day, every single time they're on the start line, whether they're going for 2nd or 5th or 6th. So dude, yeah, you're not going to be fighting for the win every weekend. You're going to be fighting for the podium. You're going to be fighting for 5th. But you need to bring that same energy, that fight, that not willing to fade, that not willing to crash, just not willing to let anybody come by you. You got to bring that every single weekend. And if you do, you see how good it can be. You have seen the light now. You have won a race. Think about this. Soak it all in. Enjoy this and take it forward. This is a long episode right now, but it's a long episode for you, Duran. You got keys to your own team car. Jeremy Powers has keys to an Audi because he wins races. You got a sweet, bright orange helmet. Tim Johnson gets paid probably 4 times your salary just to wear a red and blue helmet and pretend to drink sugary caffeinated water. You could have that, dude. Congratulations, you are number 1 for this week in particular. I'm super proud of you. If you don't do it again next week, you're back in the pack again. But for now, the number 1 rider, let's just wrap this show up. That is a wrap on week number, 12? Week number 12, Who's Number 1? Thank you guys for joining us. Thank you again for tuning in. Happy Thanksgiving. We're going to Bend next weekend, UCI C1. We're going to be bringing you the full BTB coverage. I'll let you go.